Oh yes, it's feeling good. Second in the Premier League table. Apparently, the league's gone mad, but Chelsea are cooking a comfortable 3-0 win at home in the Premier League against those Wolves, mate. And I tell you what, it wasn't easy at first. Of course, Vitor Pereira has been sacked. We played them quite recently in the Cup, and it was a 4-3 ding-dong needlessly. And they did put us under pressure. And I tell you what, in this first half, it was a back six a lot of the time. And of course, temporary interim manager bounce. I did worry, but 3 goals in the second half. Huge goals. Malo Gusto scoring his first ever senior goal in his career, let alone his first goal for Chelsea. I know we bought him as a teenager, so he was still young. Estevao coming off the bench and immediately making an impact, linking up with his countryman Joao Pedro, and Pedro Neto as well, deservedly getting on the score sheet when he was playing as a false 9 towards the end of the game. Beautiful scenes, 2 assists from Alejandro Garnacho, a man of the match performance from Enzo Fernandez, minutes for Liam Delap, that's probably as positive I can be about him. But yeah, man, like there's so much. 90 minutes and a clean sheet for Wesley Fofana. Positives, yeah? Now, I'm going to get into it. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to show you some stats. I'm going to go through some talking points. Thanks for joining me. Guys, as always, everyone's welcome here on the channel. We're very close to 200,000 subs. So if you do find yourself coming back and you're yet to subscribe, I would welcome you to do so. But yeah, this is a hugely welcome and positive result before the international break. And things get real serious, like Arsenal and Barcelona come into town. But we're going to get into it. So we're going to speak about the game a little bit, look at the stats. This is how we shaped up. It was a back 5. Sam Johnstone, as you can see, he's their highest rated player on the pitch. Their goalkeeper, 7.5, made a bunch of saves. This is us. Let's have a little look if I can see if we can make the shape a little bit. Possible, because it seemed like both fullbacks were inverting. Let's have a quick look here. Gusto. Oh, they've changed it. Where's the heat maps? Where's the heat maps? Hold on. Match heat map. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, they both kind of went inside a little bit. When they were in the final third, both Gusto and Cucurella, you can see they weren't really chalk on their boots. The width was held from the wingers, which of course was Neto and Garnacho, the starting players. And then of course, it kind of seems like Enzo Fernandez, that left pocket, really pushing up. And then the right pocket, I guess, in theory, Joao Pedro, as you can see there. And then Caicedo will be your just ball winner, presumably all over the gaff. Yeah, slightly right side dominant, but there we go. And then wingers, he of course played a little bit false 9, Pedro Neto, and Garnacho was very much the same role as you can see there, just that pressure release valve, that outlet on the left hand side, getting 2 assists, an amazing performance really. He of course here on SofaScore, 1 player of the match. Now just quickly, let's quickly look at the stats in the halves. Yeah, so the first half, we had 73% possession, 1 XG, which is okay, actually, if we're talking about what we were coming up against, and it was often a back 6, 11 shots, 1 big chance. Before you get a goal, this is the kind of stuff you expect in terms of chipping away, like 3 goalkeeper saves in that first half. But of course, the second half, we created 5 big chances, 2.4 XG, much better. But at that point, we'd broken the fort that was Wolverhampton Wanderers' defense. I did a live stream at halftime, and some people were kind of like bummed out. It sounded like there was some boos at Stamford Bridge. I didn't quite understand it. I thought, and I'm going to talk about Enzo Fernandez and certain player performances. I thought we looked broadly pretty good, moving the ball really well, some really interesting tactical shapes, certain players rotating position. I actually thought it was fine, really. I thought Enzo Fernandez looked absolutely magnificent in that first half. The beginning of the second half, a little bit of a dip in terms of how much action he saw, but ultimately on the Sky Sports coverage, he won man of the match. In terms of player of the match here on SofaScore, it's given to Alejandro Garnacho. Despite like not getting that goal, I think perhaps it was muscle memory from people. The fear of, oh, here we go again, basically. Like, you know, starting really well, looking like, oh, we're Chelsea, we've got really talented, good young players. Look at us demonstrate our ability and do this high-octane football. Freak out when you don't score the goal. run out of ideas, and then the darkness comes. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't that, fortunately. Yes, we started. If we have a little look here in terms of look at that attacking momentum. There was a little period after, you can see here, after we scored the opener, that they responded, Wolves. There was that little moment of their momentum, and I thought, oh dear, why are they playing football now? And then we get the other 2 goals, and the rest, as they say, is history. So it was all happened in the second half. Alejandro Garnacho assisting a header for Malo Gusto. Now, this deserves a moment. Malo Gusto scoring his first goal for Chelsea. Lovely little header. Look, under Pochettino, his first season. So this is his 3rd season now. Under Pochettino, we didn't score a goal, but he was like, well, he's a conventional sort of servicing right back. He gets up and down, and we saw him make some really good under Poch, good 1v1 defending, and he got a few assists and was putting balls in. And it looked like we had this really dynamic fullback. Now, Maresca comes in, he changes the game. He does play him as a dynamic fullback sometimes. We won the Club World Cup against European champions Paris Saint-Germain, playing Malo Gusto as a flying right back. Do you know what I mean? Running in behind. So Maresca will do that, but he's got this plan, he's got this idea of Malo Gusto for him to occupy these certain spaces in that right pocket, and we've seen it all last season, and indeed maybe a few times this season, where he just balloons it into Rosette, or he does this. He has so many high value moments in Maresca's role, but we were all like banging our heads against the wall, and Maresca, stop it. This is nearly like Tyreek George striker stuff. Why is one of your, what are you seeing here? But the truth is, to Malo Gusto's credit, he was getting into these high-value shooting opportunities. He just couldn't score. And I did say, if you're a fan of my content, you will have heard me say on multiple occasions, that when he gets that goal, I'm not going to say the floodgates are going to open and he's going to score loads for Chelsea, but it's going to be an absolute just weight lifted, and you could see how happy his teammates were for him. And actually, like I said, up until that goal, it was really tough. Wolves were resolute. Their manager's gone. They got a new guy coming in. They want to impress the new guy. They, they were defending resolutely, and it took a moment of narrative like Malo Gusto's first ever professional goal and goal for Chelsea to open them up, and it opened them up. They came forward a little bit. Caicedo got booked, and I tell you what, Estevao comes on for Liam Delap. Oh, interesting. That means Pedro Neto. Well, I thought it was going to be Joao Pedro going up top, maybe Estevao on the inside, but actually it was for a limited time. Limited time only. Pedro Neto played as a false 9. And Estevao sets up Joao Pedro from the right wing. His first involvement, he sets up a goal that gives us like a big sigh of relief and some daylight in the scoreline. Hugely important. All goals are really important, I think, for different reasons. And then Neto, of course, scoring against his former club. Now, I want to talk about Estevao very quickly, because a lot of people were like, oh, why is he not starting? Well, because he played in Azerbaijan midweek for 90 minutes running around, and he looked like he had cramp at the end, and he's a teenager. That's why he's not starting when Pedro Neto was fully rested at home and is a good Premier League operator. I've been talking about this in recent content. Estevao will be a starter for Chelsea eventually. When he learns the ropes, the tactical discipline, the tracking back, maybe he bulks up a little bit, I don't know, whatever he needs, he will be a starter for Chelsea. But at the moment, I tell you what, as a closer, it is like a superpower bringing on that kid against slightly tired legs, And I did want to speak about it because I've said this before, but I really want to keep talking about it because Estevao says he sees himself as like a number 10, like free role playing in the hole. Maresca said that as well. But I've seen this kid. He's an absolute demon on the wing. Playing in a Chelsea shirt on that right flank, chalk on his boots, cutting in or playing inside, setting up goals, scoring goals. He's giving left backs nightmares. And then like seeing him, this little kid in the middle of the pitch, I just want to be like, no, go over there and do that wizardry that you do, because he is an amazing winger, bro. Of course, we're all excited to see him and Palmer play again because they can swap. They'll link up and swap positions. But I've got no issue genuinely at the moment with bringing Estevao off the bench in the right wing position, you know. It's working really, really well. And of course, you know, you could hear Stamford Bridge respond to him. So excited when he comes on, when he gets on the ball. He's a true entertainer. Obviously, we've had that with Palmer, but like the excitement with Palmer wasn't this quick. You know, maybe it's because we saw the run up with Steva on the Club World Cup and breaking Neymar's records in Brazil. And with, you know, Palmer, I got stick for being excited for signing him because I thought he's a proper player. But he was sort of like one of Pep's unwanted youth products. Do you know what I mean? So the run up wasn't quite as sensational. But it's giving like true Eden Hazard entertainer vibes. Don't want to go too early with that, but it's terribly exciting indeed. And it sets up Joao Pedro scoring on consecutive games for the Brazilian. He went loads of games without goals. He deserves another one. And of course, Alejandro Garnacho getting another assist in the 73rd minute to set up Pedro Neto. They got to sit on there. They both did the Garnacho celebration on the advertising board, which is nice. And that's the 73rd minute. So I would have put the farm on us scoring another goal, especially bringing on like Gu, James, Santos, Gittins, fresh legs, as you can see here. I would have said like, yeah, we're gonna get another one or two here. But no, professional 3-0 win that sees Chelsea go to the top of the Premier League. Now let's talk about some player performances, because first of all, my man of the match is Enzo Fernandez. I spoke about this for you guys who follow me on Instagram and watch my halftime lives at Football Yannick on Instagram, should you want to watch. We were chatting about Enzo Fernandez, and I was really like, I'm very mindful not to compare Fernandez to Fabregas, an amazing world-class superstar. I mean, to be fair, like they've both won with their countries, but you know, Fabregas has won Premier Leagues and, you know, played in Barcelona and stuff. But Fernandez, like, you know, he might not have this pass that no one sees, that Fabregas sees, but I tell you what, the passes that he sees and he's meant to make is absolutely incredible weight of pass. Short, long, lofted, slight curve. Do you know what I mean? Like he does them all. But the thing is, and Fabregas is the best player. Yada yada yada. I'm very mindful not just to go too early on this. But what Enzo Fernandez does is he covers the ground like no one else. Up until recently, he's the Chelsea player that runs the most on the pitch. It doesn't look like that. I always joke because he doesn't run fast, but he covers so much and he's just dictating play like this. Absolutely sensational. For me, he's 97. I know you're playing against a defensive team. Passes, I mean, long balls, 100% accurate long balls. 100% accurate in his own half. 97% accurate total. And like, yeah, he's just, you know, a couple of key passes, big chance created. He was amazing, like the way he was kicking about that ball. Caicedo was alright. He looks a little bit knackered. The defenders, what can I say? Chalobah, they didn't have much to do. Cucurella had moments. Obviously delighted for Gusto, and after when he got that goal, he looked like he got another lease of life, like an extra lung, because he's probably like running. You know, it's probably the amount of dopamine that came in, or dopamine's more of an anticipation thing, isn't it? It's not so much a reward. Adrenaline, whatever. He probably got loads more adrenaline and was just like, felt like he could run more. Rob Sanchez in goal. Obviously, he had nothing to do, but what he does do, he's exuding confidence at the moment, and I will keep praising him absolutely while he deserves it. For him to completely win me over and be like, he's the Chelsea goalkeeper, I'm gonna need it all season, mate, and see where we are at the end. I've got a sample size of you so far from Brighton and Chelsea, mate. And, you know, so we'll see how we are, but he deserves praise. The way he comes out and claims crosses, shots, and just so dominant in the box. And I think because, you know, again, I said this on the live, but when Edouard Mendy came in for Kepa and just made some like really sort of standard claims in the box, we were all like, oh my god, he's amazing. But it's just because Kepa never came for the ball. Kepa was an amazing shot stopper at times. He could pass well at times, but he had no aura in the box. He never commanded. There's that amazing. It was funny, but it was that like famous moment where he didn't come for that real obvious ball, and the whole Chelsea team in synchrony just go Kepa. and shout his name, and he's just like, what? So, Mendy was just catching balls, and we were like, what is this wizardry? But yeah, Sanchez is so commanding, deserves an immense amount of praise. I'm just really happy Wes got 90 minutes. You guys know I'm a big fan of his. Happy for Gusto's goal. Caicedo, good. He's never not good, obviously. He's best central defensive midfielder in the world. Maybe when he's fully fit and on form, which perhaps today he's probably he wasn't meant to play midweek yet to come on for Lavia. Fernandez, my man of the match. Delighted for Joao Pedro to score in consecutive games. Let's talk about Delap very quickly. He's probably the biggest underperformer for Chelsea on the day. Unsurprisingly, it's his first start since the beginning of the season. He's obviously come off injury, then the double yellow-red card moment. And also, he's probably not suited for this game. Delap's a real good pressure release valve. When you're soaking up pressure, he'll drag you up the pitch. Against that back six, when he's not in form and developing chemistry, I don't think it's necessarily the game for him. But, he was involved in the win, so that's good. It's positive. He didn't aggravate injury. I think Garnacho looked excellent. He's got a very specific role. I think it's very, very notable that he stayed on for the entire game. He's clearly Chelsea's starting left winger. Maresca really likes him. And there's stories coming out in the media that they're really happy with his training and his conditioning, and that's probably reflected in that he runs a lot, and he still won't get taken off after 90 minutes. They trust him to go to the end. 2 assists today, amazing moment for him. And yeah, Pedro Neto deserved his goal as well. So generally pretty good. And of course, off the bench, the boy really, the game changer, Stevao, who created the goal that essentially sealed the win. And then we saw minutes from Captain Reese, Mark Gu, Andre Santos, and Jamie Gittins. The only interesting thing about that really is that we saw Gittins play on the right wing, which is different to what we usually see. But yeah, man, feeling freaking good. Feeling good. It's a 3-0 win. We've battered them. And no more injuries. Touch wood, I think there is anyway. And yeah, second place. I know it might be fleeting, but I'll ruddy take it, mate. Let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Thank you for liking and subscribing. And I do hope to see you back here very soon. Peace.